Okay, so first of all, thank you for joining. So today we have a talk program by Dr. Sunil Pokhrel. So as we sent you through an email, so Sunil Pokhrel has worked as a teacher, professional development personnel, and education researcher. He began his career as a science teacher in a private school in Kathmandu. After accumulating a decade of science teaching experiences in different educational contexts, he tried his hand as helping public school teachers integrate information and communication technology into their classroom delivery. In doing so, Sunil traveled to many rural parts of Nepal and gained first-hand experiences about rural school and schooling opportunity and challenges. So during that time, he found a new passion which inculcated improving classroom teaching of all subject areas, specifically science in the primary grades, so that he believed could be done only by helping so science teachers incorporate multiculturalism in their pedagogical practices. So he advocates for incorporating culturally responsive teaching in the curriculum as well as in the teaching practices. So Sunil recently completed his doctorate studies from the United States. So his research interest lies in understanding how Nepal's educators understand and enact culturally responsive teaching. So I kindly request Sunil sir to give his talk, and then so even during his talk, so you can write if you have some queries, you can write in the chat. But after his talk, and then we'll take few questions. So Sunil sir, over to you.
Thank you so much, Binod sir. Thank you for the lovely introduction. We have 16 scholars with us today. I really thank you for your time and thank you for joining in. For today's talk, I am going to talk about culturally responsive teaching. That is something that Dr. Binod sir just talked about, my passion. It has been my passion for some time now. So I have not prepared any slides or anything, but I have some talking points that I would like to share with you as I talk. And as I am talking, I would love to hear questions from you. I will be very much I will not mind any question at all. And let me just talk about. I will start with a small activity, a question maybe, and then I will be revolving around that question. As I talk, I'll be revolving around the question that I asked at the beginning of my presentation. So I'll be using Nepali and English interchangeably, not because that I'm more comfortable speaking in Nepali, of course, but if someone needs English, I'll try my best to speak in English, but I would just state the question in English, but I would prefer to speak in Nepali because that is my first language and that is what I'm comfortable with. आजको यो छलफलको पहिलो प्रश्न चाहिँ मैले यहाँहरुलाई के राखेँ, पहिले सबैले मेरो कुरा सुन्नुहुन्छ? Can you hear me?
Yes sir, yes, yeah, we can hear you clearly. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you. So I would like to start with a question here. Please listen to this question carefully and you think about this question before as we go along. मेरो प्रश्न के हो भने, who are the poorest performers in your class? I mean, if you are a classroom teacher of any grade, any subject, any level, I don't care about that. But my question is, who are the poorest performers in your class? If you are not a classroom teacher, by the way, can you use your prior knowledge to identify the class of people who are the lowest performers in all level of Nepali education system? So मैले सोध्न खोजेको प्रश्न के हो भने, तपाईको कक्षामा यदि तपाई कक्षा कोठाको शिक्षक हुनुहुन्छ भने तपाईको कक्षामा सबैभन्दा कम परफर्म गर्ने अथवा लोएस्ट अचिभर्सहरु चाहिँ को हुन्, कुन वर्ग हो, कस्ता बच्चाहरु हुन्, तिनका सरनेम के हो, त्यसको बारेमा तपाई सोच्नु होला। र यदि तपाईँ कक्षा कोठामा पढाउनुहुन्न, अरू किसिमको काम गर्नुहुन्छ, स्कलर हुनुहुन्छ, रिसर्चर हुनुहुन्छ, अथवा सरकारी अफिसमा हुनुहुन्छ र डाइरेक्ट विद्यार्थीसँग फेस टु फेस इन्टरेक्सन छैन भने तपाईँको पुरानो अनुभवबाट प्राप्त गरेर तपाईँको विचारमा नेपालका कक्षा कोठाहरूमा पोरेस्ट पर्फर्मर्स अथवा अचिभमेन्ट ग्याप भएका, अत्यन्तै अचिभमेन्ट लो अचिभमेन्ट भएका विद्यार्थीको वर्ग, कुन वर्गका विद्यार्थीहरूले कम अचिभ गरिरहेछन् त्यो बारेमा सोच्नु होला. This is your through your prior experience. Now, I would like to talk about a few facts that I have just cited from different sources, the government level sources, by the way. यो सेन्ट्रल ब्युरो अफ स्ट्याटिस्टिक्स 2012ले के भन्छ भने नेपाल इज अ मल्टी-एथनिक, मल्टी-रिलिजियस, multilingual country. Nepal has 125 ethnic groups which practice more than 5 religions and speak 123 languages. So there are 125 ethnic groups speaking 123 languages. Orgo fact, I'm just talking about the fact. I'll come back. I'll join the dots as I go along. Of the total students enrolled in the basic level in Nepal, 18.2% are Dalits. The overall share of Dalit is 12.6% in secondary level. From basic level to the secondary level, the Dalit students population is 13%. Flash report 2020. Now, we have 13% of students who are Dalits throughout the country. Here, there is another fact. The fact that is given by the Flash report, Dalit teachers make up 6.4% of the lower basic level teachers. 5.5% of upper basic teachers are at secondary level with grade 9 to 10. With grade 11 to 12, it's only 4.4% of the Dalit teachers are available to teach our Dalit children. So, inevitably, we can see that Dalit teachers are underrepresented in Nepal teachers' workforce as they make up 13% of the population. And we have only 6.5% of the population who are Dalit teachers. Now, likewise, the Janjati community bata चाहिँ 34.3% students are Janjatis. Now, interestingly, Dalit Janjati teachers make up 33.1% at the lower basic level. So it hovers around 27 to 33, and from grade 1 to 10, but in grade 11 and 12, the Janjati teachers comes down to 19.1%. Now, why I'm talking about this? What's the point of this that I'm talking about? I would like to show you something like performance national assessment of student achievement, NASA result here. This is quite old, but still I think this is relevant. I really want you, if you can see this, I really want you to see how the performance gap is between Brahmin Kshetris, Janjatis, Dalit, Madhesis, and others. So I would just like to see, I would like to request you to have a look at grade 8 science, 2013 science, right? It is the last column of the table, right? 2013, I'm just looking at the science, right? It's just for an example. It's a sample thing. So Brahmin and Kshetri in 2013 had 41 average. Janjatis, interestingly, had 45, and Dalits had 35, Madhesis had 36, and others had 39. So the national average was very low. It was in 40s, of course. But if you look at the Dalits and Madhesis, they are way below Brahmin, Kshetris, and Janjatis. So why I'm talking about this now, I would like to join the dots here. Now, interestingly, if you happen to read NASA report, they talk about different reasons why students are not performing. there are like constellations of regions that they're putting in, like socioeconomic status, uh, 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 education of parents, the help that they receive from their the feedback on their homework, um, and many others. Interestingly interestingly what I didn't notice is they didn't talk about the quality of teaching, or the quality of teachers, or there are many different things that didn't talk about, like, do they take into account students culture? I don't know if they did. उनीहरूले एउटा कुरा गर्छन्, अहिले 10 कक्षाको रिजल्ट, त्यो नासा रिपोर्ट निकाले रहेछ, त्यसमा भाषाको कुरा चाहिँ गरेको छ एकचोटि। जुन जुन बच्चाहरू नेपाली भाषामा घरमा अध्ययन गर्छन् तिनीहरूको चाहिँ पर्फर्मेन्स राम्रो भनिएको छ। तर बाँकी कुरा के गरिएको छ भने सोसियो इकोनोमिक कन्टेक्स्ट, बाउआमाको एजुकेसन, मेल हो कि फिमेल हो, अथवा जियोग्राफिकल लोकेसन, अथवा पब्लिक स्कुल हो कि इन्स्टिट्युसनल स्कुल, अथवा कम्युनिटी स्कुल, अथवा प्राइभेट स्कुल हो, ती कुराले चाहिँ छलफल गरिएको छ। तर अचम्म के, देयर इज नो ब्लेम पुट अन द क्वालिटी अफ टिचर्स। That is what I find it very interesting, and there is something, this is my critique about NASA report, that they don't blame the teaching quality there. Are teachers to be blamed here? I don't know, right? मैले ब्लेम गर्नुपर्छ भने हैन, तर त्यो नासा रिपोर्ट लेख्ने क्रममा टिचरको टिचिङको क्वालिटीको लाई चाहिँ एउटा भेरिएबल बनाउन सकिन्थ्यो कि सकिँदैन थियो भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ रिग्रेसन एनालिसिस गर्दाखेरि त्यो प्रश्न मेरो दिमागमा चलिरहेको छ। Maybe like I'll get that. I don't know the answer as yet, but I'll look for the answer as I go along, as I continue thinking about this. Now, so what I have written here is, in the NASA report, the writers do not cover the effect of the performance of students due to the quality of teaching. Unfortunately, there is no word about teaching significance of good teaching, So what is good teaching here? So what is good teaching? Now, I would like to begin my talk about, like, I'm looking at good teaching from a framework of culturally responsive teaching. So my framework of looking at good teaching is from the lens of culturally responsive teaching, right? Now, good teaching, according to Gloria Linda Billing is a Black female researcher in the US, who has done a lot of research about why Black students or brown students are not doing as good as the whites are. So she is a huge name in the area of culturally relevant teaching. By the way, I'll talk about relevant and responsive in a while. But Linda Billing is a big name in understanding why Black students do not perform as good as their white counterparts. So I would like to warn you. I would like to tell you that I'm looking at good teaching, definition of good teaching, from the framework developed by Linda Billings. So for Linda Billings, good teaching is about improving students' academic performance of all students. By all students, it's all students in the class, not just the privileged few, right? So improved academic performance, all students, including those of the historically non-performers. That is what Linda Billing talks about. So if we are talking about good teaching, then students of all kinds should perform or should have improved academic performance. She has 3 points, by the way. The second one is culturally competent teaching. So Linda Billings believes that, which I also share her opinion, culturally competent teaching is about letting students to thrive in their culture. It's not like propagating our culture or teachers' culture, but respecting, recognizing, acknowledging students' culture, and letting them to thrive in their own culture. So culturally competent teaching and socio-politically critical. So the the, the third thing she says that is about socio-politically critical. So she wants students to have critical consciousness, so that they think about the inequalities present in the society. So if we are teaching kids, if we are teaching students, for Linda Billing, it's about academic performance of all students, not just a few. And students need to have their competence in the culture that they live in, they strive. And then they need to be critical about their socio-political context. So when Linda Billing actually talked about this, there were several other researchers who came into this domain, and they started talking about multiculturalism, how to handle multiculturalism in a school, and all these things. And there was one who was very interesting, and who was very influential, was Geneva Gay. Geneva Gay is again a black female American educationist, and while Linda Billing was a bit theoretical about culturally relevant teaching, Geneva Gay actually operationalized the culturally responsive teaching. She had 5 points. I would like to talk about it little detail, so that we know what I'm talking, right? So Geneva Gay says that if we are being culturally responsive, so culturally responsive भने के पहिला नेपालीमा कल्चरली रेस्पोन्सिभ भने केलाई बुझ्ने, एउटा कल्चरली रेस्पोन्सिभ टिचर हुनुमा के हो त कुरा भन्दाखेरि जेनेभा गेले के भन्छन् भने, फर्स्ट the teacher should know his her students. What does this mean? Like, oh, know what, right? So knowing a student is knowing the students upside down. So knowing the students' sociocultural, socioeconomic status, their cultural background, their cultural heritages, their thinking, their parents, all these things. So if we are the first important issue with being a culturally responsive teaching is knowing the student inside out. That's the first thing. The second thing is to be able to design culturally relevant curriculum. त्यो भने के कल्चरली डिजाइनिङ कल्चरली रेलेभेन्ट करिकुलम, यहाँ प्रश्न आउन सक्छ, हामी त नेपालमा त कल्चरल हामी करिकुलम त डिजाइनै गर्दैनौँ, करिकुलम इज इन्फोर्स्ड अन अस, इम्पोज्ड अन अस भन्न सकिन्छ। तर when we teach the content, we can always introduce culturally relevant curricula, right? Yes, curriculum is enforced on us, but still the content of the curriculum can be little tweaked or can be little changed. So Geneva Gayको अर्को भनाइ के छ भने, designing culturally relevant curricula is the way out. So teach in the way students can relate the content with their prior knowledge. So she is basically being a constructivist here by saying that if you connect students' prior knowledge with what you're teaching, then it is likely that they succeed, or that they have interest in knowing what you're teaching. So the first one is knowing the students. Second one is designing a culturally relevant curricula. And the third one is about demonstrating cultural caring and building a learning community. What does this mean? Cultural caring भने के? Sorry. Cultural caring, एउटा example, if there are Madesi students in a class, right? I have heard many times that teachers just call them by name, a Madesi, a Mades, a Kalo. That is not cultural caring. So that is not acknowledging the students as they are. So Geneva Gayko भनाइमा, we need to accept students as they are. So, and when we demonstrate cultural care, and that is how we build a learning community. So if we treat our students in equitable way, it is likely that students will have respect for each other and they form a learning community, or they value each other's knowledge or cultural heritage. So that's the third point Geneva Gay has put forward. And cross-cultural communication. So a teacher should be able to practice a cross-cultural communication in the way that he can be bilingual or he can be trilingual or multilingual. At the same time, the teacher should be able to put people in groups, or foster communication between the students in a very respectful way. If one student can interact with all students in the class or in the school, then it is likely that students will be very comfortable, and the academic progress or any other personal attributes can be enhanced. That is what Geneva. I'm just talking about Geneva Gay here. So, and the cultural congruity in classroom instruction. So Geneva Gay's major emphasis is match the instructional techniques to the learning styles of the diverse students. So learning styles of the diverse students. मैले यहाँ एउटा कुरा के भन्न खोजिरहेको छु भने, अहिले जसरी यो डेमोग्राफिक कम्पोजिसन चेन्ज भइरहेको छ ड्यू टु माइग्रेसन, विभिन्न ठाउँबाट एक ठाउँबाट अर्को ठाउँमा जाने आउने माइग्रेसनहरू एकदमै धेरै भइरहेको कारणले हाम्रो कक्षा कोठाहरू पक्कै पनि मल्टिकल्चरल हुन थालेका जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई. सो I haven't seen a report as yet, I haven't seen the data as yet, but I think that in any class we will see some students who are historically oppressed. For example, Dalits, right, or Janjatis, or any other groups, right? So as we are having a multicultural classroom, it is essential that we think about the students, we think about the diverse students. So this is what Geneva Gay and Linda Billing had to say about how students needed to be treated. So it's basically, मैले चाहिँ यसलाई summarize गर्दा के भन्नुपर्छ भने, both of these scholars are saying one thing, and they have a common goal. They see this: respect your students, acknowledge their culture, and teach them according to their culture, and have a belief that all students can succeed. It's not that only who are rich, who are privileged in terms of socioeconomic status and many other things. They need to be, everyone need to succeed. That is the belief that teachers need to have. That is what these two scholars are saying. Now going back to our now bringing this theoretical framework to the context of Nepal, right? There are things that I would like to talk about. Now, I would like to take you to NASA report 2020. The NASA, one of the small portion of NASA report says a substantial difference in the achievement has been observed based on the home language. The children whose home language is Nepali scored higher than those whose home language were other than Nepali language. The finding has notable influence on the use of classroom pedagogy achievement of the students, even in the earlier grades. ERO 2019. Now, the recommendation here is the gap can be narrowed by using home language of children by teachers in class or even in lower grades. Teachers need at least basic level language learning packages for the students or language of the community surrounding the school. Teachers have to be able to communicate in community language, and they have to teach translating, changing codes, using trans-language strategy, and empowering those who use language other than Nepali at home. A comprehensive language learning package for teachers for their professional development deserves incorporation in TPD. Now, my question is this enough? I'm asking a question to everyone here, that is this enough? Is language is definitely necessary. It's better if teachers are multilingual, or like if teachers are multilingual, it's good, but only taking into account the language will not do the job. That is what this is the argument. This is the major argument I'm making here. This does not, yes, language is essential part of what you do. If you're teaching a Magar student, and if you're speaking Magar language, well and good, but only talking about communicating in Magar language will not help. What we need to think about is bringing the constellation of cultural mores that these people have, and bringing that to the class, bringing the cultural heritage of these students, to the class, and using and leveraging that cultural knowledge to the class is what we need in the class, so that so that we will be helping students of all kinds, right? So if we look at the data, previous data suggested that there are so many teachers, Brahmin, because there are Brahmin and Kshetri teachers more than Dalit teachers. Brahmin and Kshetris make up what, the less than 20% of the population, maybe, I don't know. Brahmin and Kshetri population, is it 12? I don't know. Can somebody help here? What is the Brahmin and Kshetri population of Nepal? I need help. Okay, so I don't know. I need help here. Okay, so Brahmin and Kshetri population is actually a minority in terms of the total population of Nepal. But students of Brahmin and Kshetris are performing well. That is because, my argument is, that is because the teachers are Brahmin and Kshetris. Majority of teachers are Brahmin and Kshetris. And Brahmin and Kshetris, it's okay to have Brahmin and Kshetris in class, but are they being helpful to the students who are historically oppressed? That is the question I am asking here. My argument is that Brahmins and Kshatriya teachers are propagating their culture in the class, and it is not helping other class like Dalits, because if you look at Dalit students, they are not performing well. Not only that they are performing least in the school, even in the tertiary education, there is very less number of Dalits and Dalit students. And that is precisely because the state has not been able to introduce something called culturally responsive teaching, which is about respecting Dalits, respecting who the Dalits are, and making our classroom culturally congruent, so that Dalit students can also relate to. So I asked the question, is this enough? So let us go back to my previous question and see if we as teachers know the languages of students. Do the historically underrepresented population who are historically non-performing succeed in academic at a greater rate? मेरो प्रश्न के भने, यदि दुई खाले भाषा मात्रै बोल्दिने हो भने के दलित स्टुडेन्ट्स अथवा जनजाति स्टुडेन्ट्स जसले चाहिँ अत्यन्तै कम अचिभमेन्ट देखाइरहेका छन्, तिनीहरूको चाहिँ एकाडेमिक लेभल वात्तै बढ्ला? I doubt it. I doubt it, but I do not have a concrete what do you call that, research evidence to show that it does. But अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय रूपमा चाहिँ केटाकेटीहरूको कल्चरल फ्याक्टर्स, सोसियो इकोनोमिक फ्याक्टर्स आदिले र विशेष गरी कल्चरल फ्याक्टर्सले अचिभमेन्ट रेटलाई अल्टर गर्ने कुरा चाहिँ देखिन्छ। नेपालको केसमा त्यो रिसर्च भएको छैन जस्तो लाग्छ, तर हामीले एकचोटि टेस्ट गर्न सक्छौँ त्यो विषयमा। त्यो चाहिँ that is some I will leave it to the young budding researchers that we have here with us today. Maybe we can also be part of that, but this is something that we could also it will be an interesting research to look at. Now, यत्रो गफ गरिसकेपछि where do you put this in practice then? What should be the praxis then? अब यसको थ्योरी त गफ गरियो, लिन्डा बिलिङ भनियो, जेनेभा गे भनियो, त्यसपछि प्र्याक्टिस के त, वाट इज द थ्योरीबाट प्र्याक्टिस के त भनेर मैले यसो विचार गर्दाखेरि मैले साइन्स करिकुलमलाई एकचोटि हेरेँ। साइन्स करिकुलम नेपालीमा लेखिएको भेटाएँ र जीव विज्ञान विषय क्षेत्र जीव विज्ञान एकाइ जीवन चक्र सिकाइ उपलब्धि 3टा छन्। च्याउका जीवन चक्र र महत्त्वको वर्णन गर्न, खाने च्याउ र विषालु च्याउको पहिचान गर्न र च्याउ खेती प्रविधि सम्बन्धमा सोधी खोजी गर्न। यो पढाउनको लागि र यो पढाउँदाखेरि हाम्रो कक्षालाई कल्चरली रेस्पोन्सिभ टिचिङ बनाउनको लागि के गर्ने त? यो प्रश्न मैले यो मेरो अडियन्सलाई सोधेँ। पढाउने त यही हो। एउटा उपाय के हुन सक्छ भने पुस्तकमा जस्तो छ त्यस्तै पढाइदिने। पुस्तकमा लेखिएको चित्र नै देखाइदिने, त्यो एउटा हुनसक्छ। त्यसले स्ट्याटस क्योलाई चाहिँ मेन्टेन गर्छ। Those who are really into books will just memorize everything and they will just put in a piece of paper to get the highest possible grade. Is that what we want? Maybe not. So if I were a teacher, if I was teaching this, I would just let a student, एउटा जसले चाहिँ जीवनमा च्याउको खेती गरेको छ, त्यो केटोलाई चाहिँ एउटा रिसोर्स पर्सनको रूपमा उभ्याएर चाहिँ I would have allowed him to talk about च्याउ खेती. So by doing that, I'm just respecting students' prior knowledge. So by doing that, I think मैले कुन चाहिँ केटाकेटीले च्याउ खेती गरेको छ भनेर पत्ता लगाउनको लागि जेनेभा गेले भने जस्तो चाहिँ केटाकेटीहरूको बारेमा थाहा पाउनु पर्छ। त्यसपछि केटाकेटीहरूलाई चाहिँ त्यो च्याउ खेतीको बारेमा उनीहरूको प्रायर एक्सपिरियन्सको बारेमा छलफल गर्न, प्रस्तुति गर्न यी आदि कारणले दिँदाखेरि क्रस कम्युनिकेसन पनि बढ्छ जस्तो लाग्छ। र केटाकेटीहरूलाई नै पढाउँदाखेरि त्यो कल्चरल कन्ग्युरिटी पनि हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ र एउटा लर्निङ कम्युनिटीको पनि विकास हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ। र यो पढाउँदा इट्स अबाउट राइटिङ अ लेसन प्लान, राइट, वेयर students are engaged. I think it was Friday that I was listening to Rosni, Dr. Rosni, who was talking about 5E. As I was listening, I was also thinking my presentation. So I was thinking, so why can't we have all these things, knowing students, making things easier for students, connecting students' idea with the concept in the engaged phase of 5E. Right? So you could do anything. We could differ in the way that we would deliver our lesson, but the prime thing, the major thing that you would like to have here is that you bring your students' knowledge into the class, right? You value students' knowledge, you use that knowledge for the benefit of others and benefit of that individual as well, so that he or she also feels a pride about what she or he knows about the context. So by doing that, you are being culturally responsive, and you are helping not only those who can just memorize everything, and got a solid marks points in their exams. So, but we really need to plan this out well so that things really look culturally responsive in the sense that everyone in the class feels a part of the process. No one feels alienated in the class. That is what is most important about. And I'm just talking about the praxis here. So I have another learning outcome. This is again Baudik Vigyan from class 9. Saral Yandra, Sikai Ublabdi, Chadke Sata, Ghirni Pangra Bead, Yantrik Faida, Chadke Sata, Ghirni Pangra Go Bead, Yantrik Faida, Gati Anupatka, Jatil Yandra Go Pariche Dina. मलाई यो कुरा यो यसले जहिले पनि बडो इन्ट्रेस्टिङ लाग्छ मलाई जब हामी सरल यन्त्रका कुरा गर्छौं। आई थिंक त्यो हाम्रो गाउँघरमा पाइने पानीघट्ट चाहिँ is the biggest and the most classical example to bring to the class जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई. It is such a huge resource that if we could bring that thing to the class, you know, that will be a wonderful service to the students जस्तो लाग्छ र त्यो चाहिँ most culturally responsive teaching हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई, किनभने majority of our students who are from the rural area, no, they are familiar with ghatta, pani ghatta, watermill. So watermill has everything in there. Chadke sata, ghirni, pangro, yantrik faida, यी सबै कुराहरु त्यही पानी घट्टको एक्जाम्पल दिएर अथवा तिनीहरुलाई ट्राभल के रे कन्टेक्स्ट बेस्ड एजुकेसन अथवा त्यहाँ भिजिट गराएर प्लेस बेस्ड एजुकेसन गराएर यी कुराहरु पढाउन सकिन्छ र पढाउँदाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ सबभन्दा बढी कल्चरल रेस्पोन्सिभ हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ। र विशेष गरी पानी घट्टामा को पानीघट्टामा जसले ओन गर्छ उसको बच्चा पनि त्यही कक्षामा पढिरहेको छ अथवा कुनै कक्षामा पढिरहेको छ भने उसको ज्ञानलाई त्यो कक्षामा प्रस्तुत गर्नु जतिको कल्चरली रेस्पोन्सिभ चाहिँ केही हुँदैन भन्ने मेरो मान्यता छ. सो if I get to talk to you about this again, I would have a detailed plan. I would have a detailed lesson plan about how this could be done. So I just wanted to bring, I didn't really just want to be too theoretical. So I just wanted to talk about this in a way that this could be translated. Even science could be, science classes could be culturally responsive teaching. And why I'm putting this opinion in front of you is because there are many, trust me, there are many in the world, even in the US, who think that science is a neutral subject. Science is so neutral that you don't have to bring culture to students. And that is not the case here. Science is very, very cultural. Science is cultural. And there are so many scientific ideas in our community that we have to be able to capture those ideas and bring to the class so that students can relate to that ideas. Once students can relate to their ideas, there is where the constructivist idea comes along. Constructive idea is all about you develop newer knowledge by attaching to your previous knowledge. So basically, Geneva Gay and Linda Billings are being constructivist here. Just respect students' knowledge so that they can excel in their academic performance. Now, so my question is why it is essential that we advocate CRT, especially in pre-service teacher education. अब मैले यसमा अलिकति यो क्वेशनलाई pre-service teacher education तिर ल्याए किनभने that is what my interest lies. किन चाहिन्छ pre-service teacher education courses मै कल्चरल रेस्पोन्सिभ टिचिङलाई राख्नुपर्छ भन्ने मेरो दोस्रो आर्गुमेन्ट हो. पहिलो आर्गुमेन्ट चाहिँ कल्चरल रेस्पोन्सिभ टिचिङ मस्ट बी इन्कर्पोरेटेड इन एभ्री क्लासरुम भने, दोस्रो चाहिँ अहिलेको टिचर एजुकेसनमा पनि कल्चरल रेस्पोन्सिभ टिचिङ राख्नुपर्छ भन्ने मेरो आर्गुमेन्ट हो. बिकज we need to match students' culture with culture of the school. If school has a different culture than students' culture, it is likely that a lot of students will not succeed. That is what exactly happening in the B.Ed level of Nepal's classrooms. My research suggested that the students were leaving, were not being very successful in B.Ed because B.Ed program is not very friendly to those students, Dalit students. Now, अर्को कुरा किन सीआरटी चाहिन्छ भन्दा बिकज यसले सोसियो कल्चरल कन्सियसनेसलाई इन्हान्स गर्छ. Students will think about the inequalities, the injustices happening in their society. They will think about, not only think, they will act upon it. That is where cultural responsive teaching is required. We need students who are critical. We need students who can question. We need students who not only question, who look for answers as well. And cultural responsive teaching has the potential to make students inquirers as well as the problem solvers. And culture किन चाहिन्छ त मैले फेरि pre-service teacher educationमा किन चाहिन्छ त भन्दाखेरि we need teachers who are culturally caring. We need teachers who can affirm students' attitudes and other constellation of cultural mores. We cannot have teachers who actually abuse students by calling them madise or something like that, sarki or something like that. Right? We need teachers who can be culturally caring. And most importantly, we need culturally responsive teaching because it's a constructivist view. I'm sure you all understand what a constructive view. So I don't want to go in a detail about this. And we need culturally responsive teaching in pre-service science teacher because we need teachers who have change in belief, attitude, and perception. We need teachers who believe that even students are very poor, they can actually succeed if they are given a little bit of help. We need teachers who who acknowledge that multiculturalism is happening around the country, and we need to accept the fact that we need to be able to teach the diverse set of students, and we need to be able to prepare students who can actually teach diverse multicultural students. It allows teachers to be tolerant towards each other, uh, even though students do not look like him or her. म जस्तै चुच्चे नाक नदेखिने विद्यार्थीलाई मैले हेप्न पाउँदिनँ भन्न खोजेँ अब मैले यो. And we need teachers who root for the success of all. सबै विद्यार्थी सफल हुन् भन्ने चाहना राख्ने टिचर चाहिएको छ, not just a few. So CRT can help attain this. That is what my argument here is. And there are so many other things that allow teachers to be, if we actually introduce culturally responsive teaching approaches. It's a pedagogy in our pre-service teacher education. So I have put one sample reading, beautiful reading. It's about culturally relevant and culturally responsive teaching, 2 theories of practice for science, teaching and learning, science and children. यसलाई मैले APS 7 or ठ्याक्क मिलाएको छैन, तर if I have to share this document with you, I'll do that. So now to summarize my talk, right? I would like to summarize what I said. So Nepal is a multicultural Nepal is Nepali classroom are ethnically, culturally, linguistically, geographically, and religiously diverse. So if classrooms are diverse, we need to have teachers who can teach diverse set of students. And the teachers and school leaders at the moment do not reflect the diversity that we have in the classrooms. Teachers have not been prepared to address the diverse needs and strengths of students, all students. And students of historically non-performers like Dalits and Janjatis have not been provided with enough help so that they can succeed in the academic performance. And there is a bit of oppression going in the school. So we need to change that. In order to change that, introducing culturally responsive teaching in the pre-service teacher education program could be helpful. This is what I wanted to say today with you. So I would love to get your questions, your observations, or even critique. Okay, so you can criticize me in any way you want. That will not hurt my feeling. So let us talk about what do you think about this, or I would like to hear if you are already incorporating this thing in your classroom activities. That will be great. So this is I was asked to prepare my 45 minutes of talk. I think I talked for 42 minutes. So I would open the floor for the questions, please. Any questions? And
okay.
I tend to believe that no question is bad.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Sunil sir. Thank you for your wonderful presentation. So here I can see many friends who are even PhD scholar in science educations and even math education, STEAM educations, and then here we can see that very experienced science teachers. So now the floor is open. So if you have any, I think you must have any observations or even your experiences in relation to this culturally responsive pedagogy. Now the floor is open.
Yeah.
तपाईले च्याटमा लेखे पनि हुन्छ. ओके, महेश भट्टराई सर प्लिज.
सर म नेपालीमै बोले.
नेपालीमै बोल्दा राम्रो सर. महेश सर.
पोखरेल सरको प्रेजेन्टेसन मलाई राम्रो लाग्यो हैन. म एजुकेसन म्यानेजमेन्टमा काम गरिरहेको छु. अहिले टिचर्स ट्रेनिङमा म इन्भल्भ छु हैन. अब हाम्रो कुरा के भने पहिलो कुरो सरले प्री सर्भिसको ट्रेनिङको कुरा ल्याउनु भयो. प्री सर्भिस ट्रेनिङमा हामी एकदम बायस छौँ हैन. हामी त्यो सबै डोनरको सपोर्ट हामी लिने हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ कसको सपोर्ट लिने, कसको मोडल लिने चाहिँ भन्नेमा हामी एकदम दुविधामा छौँ हैन. करिकुलम भन्दा कुनै डोनरले एउटा सपोर्ट गरे हुन्छ, त्यसबाट प्रभावित भएको छौँ. त्यसकारण कल्चरली रेस्पोन्सिभ टिचर हुनको लागि त कल्चरली रेस्पोन्सिभ करिकुलम पनि बनाउनुपर्छ। त्यो कल्चरली रेस्पोन्सिभ करिकुलम बनाउनलाई हामी सबै बायोसेन्सबाट बाहिर कसरी निस्किन्छौँ सर? सरले अमेरिकाकै कन्टेक्स्टमा अध्ययन गर्नुभएको रहेछ, त्यसै क्वेसन भन्दा पनि यसको अलिकति सरको पाउन।
हजुर, दिस इज अ ग्रेट अब्जर्भेसन सर। हामीले कल्चरली रेस्पोन्सिभ टिचिङ गर्नको लागि कल्चरली रेस्पोन्सिभ करिकुलम त चाहियो नै। अब त्यसको लागि हामीले हाम्रो भ्याल्युजहरू, हाम्रो चाहिँ हाम्रा स्ट्रेन्थ्सहरू नै हाल्ने हो जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई। जस्तो एक दुईवटा उदाहरणहरू, हामीले हाम्रो कम्युनिटीमा पेस्टिसाइड्सहरू चाहिँ बायोपेस्टिसाइड्सहरू धेरै बनाइरहेको हुन्छौँ। त्यो बायोपेस्टिसाइड्स कसरी बन्छ, त्यसको प्रभाव के हो, त्यो किन बन्छ, त्यो एउटा गजबको साइन्स हो। त मैले अहिले कक्षा 10, 9, 10, 11, 12 को साइन्सलाई धेरै गतिलोसँग अध्ययन गरेको छैन। आई विल निड टु डु द्याट। तर मैले बिएडको करिकुलमलाई चाहिँ, साइन्स करिकुलम चाहिँ असाध्यै ध्यानपूर्वक हेरेको छु। त्यो बिएडको करिकुलमको कन्टेक्स्टमा मलाई बोल्छु म। सर प्लिज एक्सक्युज मी फर द्याट, बिकज आई क्यानट टक अबाउट द स्कुल करिकुलम एट द मोमेन्ट। यो बिएडको करिकुलम चाहिँ इट्स सो मच ड्रिभन बाई वेस्टर्न फिलोसफिज द्याट नथिङ अफ नेपाल हेज बिन इन्कर्पोरेटेड। अब एउटा उदाहरण दिन्छु सर म। हामीले जब डाक्टरको परिकल्पना गर्छौँ, डाक्टर बच्चालाई चाहिँ डाक्टर कस्तो हुन्छ भनेर एउटा चित्र बनाऊ भनेर लगायौँ भने it is likely that the students will draw a diagram that looks like Brahmins or Kshatris. त्यो के रे सानो आँखा चिम्सा भएका ओ ठुलो भएको बच्चाहरू नबनाउला उसले। भनेपछि त्यो स्टेरियोटाइप्सहरू हामीले तयार गरिसकेका छौँ हामी। त्यो मैले त्यो किन भनिरहेको छु भने कि हाम्रो समाजमा साइन्टिस्टहरू छैनन्, पक्कै छन्। हामीले हाम्रो साइन्टिस्टहरूको कन्ट्रिब्युसनको बारेमा बताउनै सकेका छैन। हाम्रो कम्युनिटीमा साइन्स छैन, पक्कै छ। ती साइन्सहरूको बारेमा हामीले बताउनै सकेका छैन। यहाँसम्म कि त्यो घट्टो, त्यो पानी घट्टो अथवा जाँतो चाहिँ लोएस्ट भर्जन अफ आवर यो अहिले त्यो ग्राइन्डरहरू हो भनेर पनि बताइरहेको छैनौँ। भनेपछि हाउ डु वी मेक science curriculum culturally responsive is bringing the community science in our curriculum. अर्को एउटा to give you another example, थारूहरूले चौधरीहरूले चाहिँ अन्नलाई बचाउनको लागि, त्यो अन्न बिउ बचाउनको लागि के गर्दा रहेछन् भने परालमा दुवैतर्फ माटोले मजाले पोतेर, दुवैतर्फ पोतेर अनि त्यसलाई चाहिँ त्यसै गरी पराल र माटोलाई दुईतिर गएर ढकनी बनाएर राख्दा रहेछन्। त्यसरी राखेको त्यो अन्न, त्यो बिउ चाहिँ, अन्नको बिउ चाहिँ वर्षौं किराले खाँदो रहेनछ। सो देयर इज अ साइन्स देयर, देयर इज अ ह्युज साइन्स देयर। प्रोटेक्सन, प्रिजर्भेसन अफ सीड्स भन्ने त इट्स अ ह्युज साइन्स। So how do we make our curriculum culturally responsive is bringing community knowledge into the program, into the curriculum. अनि त्यसपछि अर्को चाहिँ करिकुलम भने चाहिँ इट्स अ बिग थिङ। यो त फेरि इन्स्ट्रक्सनल अप्रोच पनि हो। अब मास्टरले किन पढाउनु पर्यो, कम्युनिटी लिडर्सले किन पढाउन सक्दैन? So you can always you can make your curriculum culturally responsive by bringing community experts or those who have some experience on the content, come to the class, deliver the class, and make it relevant, make it responsive for students in the class. I think मैले अहिले सोचेको out of my mind आएको question चाहिँ यो होला sir. But there are so many things to talk about your question, and what I have given you is just a drop in the ocean. There are so many things to talk about in this. Thank you, sir. Are you convinced?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions here? I can see very rich people. just like हाम्रो प्रतिमा थपलिया म्याम हुनुहुन्छ, जसमा तपाईले जुन करिकुलमको अध्ययन गर्नुभयो त्यही त्रिभुवन विश्वविद्यालयमा साइन्स एजुकेसनको एसिस्टेन्ट प्रोफेसर हुनुहुन्छ। हामीसँगै उहाँ पीएचडी गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ। प्रतिमा म्याम, तपाईँ केही क्वेशन छ त? उहाँले चाहिँ बीएड साइन्स एजुकेसनकोमै उहाँले अध्ययन गर्नु भएको थियो उहाँको पीएचडीमा, जुन कोर्स तपाईँ पढाइरहनु भएको छ एभ्रीडे। केही भन्न चाहनुहुन्छ?
हजुर, थ्याङ्क यू सो मच सर। सरले मलाई नि पार्टिसिपेन्टको रूपमा लिन खोज्नुभएको थियो कि जस्तो अहिले फिल गरेँ सरको पिएचडीमा है। सरी सर, म एमफिलमा त्यो बेला बिजी थिएँ होइन सर? सुनिल सर?
एकछिन म्याम, yes, I remember you declined my offer and you exercise your right. That's okay. So
मेरो हजुर
consent फर्ममै मैले लेखेको थिएँ you
हजुर
can
हजुर
decline. So
म एक्जामको टाइम थियो सर फाइनल, सो म
don't
चाहिँ
even
एटेन्ड हुन
mention about that,
सकिनँ।
ma'am. Don't
हजुर
even
मैले
mention about that.
हजुर
Yeah.
हजुर हजुरको कन्टेक्स्ट चाहिँ मैले बुझेँ सर, कल्चरली रेस्पोन्सिभ भन्ने। अनि त्यस्तै गरी प्री सर्भिस साइन्स एजुकेसन स्पेसल्ली बिएड साइन्स एजुकेसन्समा चाहिँ अहिले सरको प्रेजेन्टेसन्स अनुसार चाहिँ दलित सेन्सिटिभ अलिक छैन भन्ने जस्तो चाहिँ त्यहाँ मलाई फिल भयो होइन, हजुरको त्यो आर्गुमेन्ट जस्तो लाग्यो। र मेरो ओन एक्सपिरियन्समा हेर्दाखेरि यो सेन्सिटिभ कास्ट इथनिक ग्रुपको आधारमा त्यस्तो अरूलाई छुट्याउन मिल्ने छ र दलित र त्यस्तो हाम्रो प्र्याक्टिसमा त खासै त्यस्तो देखिँदैन है। हाम्रो शान्ति क्याम्पसको कन्टेक्समा एक दुईवटा हामीले भ्यालीको कन्टेक्समा हेर्दाखेरि नि दलित र गैर दलितमा हामीले त्यस्तो विभेद गरेर पढाएको जस्तो लाग्दैन, बरु अरू इथनिक ग्रुपलाई नि समेट्न नसकेको हो कि कल्चर, उनीहरूको कल्चर ब्राह्मीण, इभन ब्राह्मीण कल्चरलाई नि ल्याउन सकेको छैन हामीले। त्यस्तै गरी क्षेत्रीय कल्चरहरू पनि आउन नसकेको हाम्रो करिकुलममा नि त्यो छ र हाम्रो प्र्याक्टिसमा नि अझ हामी त्यसमा गइ नसकेको जस्तो मैले आफ्नै रिफ्लेक्सन्स एमफिलमा रिफ्लेक्ट गरेर हेर्दा पनि मैले आफैले रियलाइज गरेँ। स्कुलको कन्टेक्समा चाहिँ अब टिपिकली कुनै एरियामा भनौँ न, मैले पढाउँदा पनि कुनै ठाउँमा गुरुङ कम्युनिटी मात्रै थियो, कुनै ठाउँमा मिक्स दलित र गुरुङ तामाङ हुँदाखेरि दलित कम्युनिटीको एकदमै राम्रो पर्फर्मेन्सहरू त्यस्तो ब्राह्मीणको ऱ्याङ्कमा नै उनीहरूको आइरहेको त्यस्तो त्यो हुनाले टिपिकली ए जातिको चाहिँ कमी हुन्छ, ए जातिको चाहिँ एकदम हाई लेभलमा हुन्छ भन्ने जस्तो चाहिँ मैले ठ्याक्कै त्यो कन्टेक्चुअल हुन्छ जस्तो चाहिँ मेरो एक्सपिरियन्समा रह्यो। र ब्याचलरको कन्टेक्समा नै दलित सेन्सिटिभ छैन भन्दाखेरि अरू चाहिँ सेन्सिटिभ छ त भन्ने चाहिँ मेरो मनमा कता कता चाहिँ त्यो फिल भयो सर। यो चाहिँ मैले सरलाई यति भन्न चाहेँ। अरू केही छ भने?
Yeah, it's your observation. It's not a question, so that's fine. I don't have to respond to this the observation. This is your observation, right? So I could very well have a different observation, but if it's a question, I would respond to that. If it is your observation, then I don't have to respond to this.
होइन यो सर, दलित सेन्सिटिभ भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ हजुरले त्यहाँ राख्नुभएको हुनाले दलित सेन्सिटिभ मात्रै अरू चाहिँ कस्तो छ त भन्ने चाहिँ हजुरको रिसर्चमा आयो कि भनेर सर, अरू सेन्सिटिभ छ कि छैन भन्ने मेरो जिज्ञासा हो सर।
जिज्ञासा चाहिँ
हजुर।
Okay, this is a question now, because when people make observation, then I would not respond to that, right? But if this is a question, then I would respond to this. अघि न महेश सरले सोध्नु भएको थियो नि कसरी कल्चरली रेस्पोन्सिभ बनाउने करिकुलमलाई भनेर। इट्स our curriculum, our BEd curriculum is not culturally responsive. Culturally responsive to any of the cultures. You understand what I mean? So it's not Dalit sensitive or it's Brahmin sensitive. It's so much Western sensitive, right? So mero research. I don't want to talk about my research, but my research clearly showed that Dalits. It is insensitive to everyone, but Dalits and other ethnic groups are the lowest performers. So it is problematic from the framework of culturally responsive teaching pedagogy.
थ्याङ्क यू सर। अनि यो कल्चर भन्दै गर्दाखेरि सर हाम्रो क्लासरुम कल्चरल सेल्फ नोइङ भन्ने कुरा नि हामीले यो स्टेजमा पढ्दै गयौँ सर। कल्चर भनेको त इभन अब एउटै खालको भनौँ न, अब ब्राह्मीण मात्रै एउटा ब्राह्मीण अथवा कुनै कम्युनिटी मात्रै छ भने क्लासरुम एज अ कल्चर मिनी कल्चर भनौँ न, कल्चरै हो नि होइन सर। हाम्रो क्लासरुममा कस्तो छ के कसरी पढायौँ भनेर आफैलाई फर्केर हेऱ्यौँ भने पनि त्यसलाई नि कल्चर भन्ने। अनि यो चाहिँ इथनिक र कास्टको आधारमा कल्चर हेर्ने, यो कल्चरमा अलिकति डिफ्रेन्स जस्तो लाग्यो कि हामीले कसरी प्र्याक्टिस गर्छौँ, पेडागोजी कस्तो छ, अनि हामीले इभ्यालुएसन कस्तो गर्छौँ, टिचिङ एभ्री डे हाम्रो प्र्याक्टिस कस्तो छ भनेर हेर्नु, द्याट इज अल्सो कल्चर। अनि यो कास्ट र इथनिकबाट हजुरले चाहिँ कुन कास्टको पर्सपेक्टिभ हो कि हामीले जसलाई जसरी पढाए पनि हाम्रो पढाउने चाहिँ एक्टिभिटीलाई कल्चर भनेर हेर्न सकिने कि नसकिने जस्तो पनि मलाई फिल भयो सर।
ओके, सो तपाईँले वर्क कल्चर कुरा गर्नुभयो पहिला सुरुमा, जहाँ हामी सेल्फ रिफ्लेक्टिभ हुने, हामीले पढाइसकेपछि केटाकेटीहरूले कसरी बुझेनन् अथवा अर्को तरिका पो अप्नाउनु पर्छ भनेर, त्यो तपाईँहरूको टिचर्सको वर्क कल्चर भयो। That is not I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is being sensitive to students' culture. Or being sensitive to students' culture भन्नासाथ फेरि स्टुडेन्ट्सको स्ट्रेन्थ्सलाई पनि हेर्ने हो. जस्तो त्यो स्ट्रेन्थ्सलाई कसरी लेभरेज गर्ने, how do it's about this, like to make things very easy for you, right? It's understanding students and using students' prior knowledge to enhance the teaching learning of the classroom and also serve the weaknesses of the students. So सबै स्टुडेन्टलाई चिन्नु पर्यो. स्टुडेन्ट्सहरूको स्ट्रेन्थ के हो, त्यो स्ट्रेन्थ कहाँबाट आउँछ भने उसको कल्चरल अपब्रिङ्गिङबाट आउँछ. त्यो कल्चरल अपब्रिङ्गिङलाई युज गरेर उसको स्ट्रेन्थलाई युज गरेर क्लासरुममा त्यसको कल्चरलाई लेभरेज गरेर क्लासरुमको टिचिङ लर्निङलाई इम्प्रुभ गर्ने एउटा कुरा भयो. तर कल्चरकै कारणले पनि केटाकेटीहरू विक भइरहेका हुन्छन् भने त्यो विकनेसलाई कसरी सर्भ गर्ने त्यसमा सेन्सिटिभ हुने कुरा चाहिँ कल्चरली रेस्पोन्सिभ टिचिङ हो. So it's your work culture and how you deliver your lesson are two different dimensions.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yep, you're welcome.
Okay, Pushpa
Yes.
ma'am, please go ahead.
Thank you, Sunil sir, for this wonderful presentation today. I'm really impressed. मेरो यो फर्स्ट यस्तो क्लास हो जहाँ हामीले एकदम कल्चरलाई खुलेर कुरा गरेछौँ. एन्ड आम रियली ग्ल्याड यहाँ साथीभाइहरू सबैले हेर्दाखेरि आइएम द ओन्ली वान फ्रम दिस दलित कम्युनिटी. म्यामले प्रतिमा म्यामले केही कुरा ल्याउनु भयो त्यो पनि ठिक छ. बिकज म चाहिँ नेपालमै जन्मेर हुर्केर पढ्ने चाहिँ मैले त्यो मौका चाहिँ पाएको थिएन. अन्ली इन हायर एजुकेसन मैले केहीबाटै एमफिल गरिरहेको छु. सो त्यो टाइममा चाहिँ आई स्टिल फिल आइएम द ओन्ली वान. मेरो क्लासमा मात्रै छु. तर हायर एजुकेसनमा आउने बित्तिकै बिकज आइ एम इन अ पोजिसन द्याट आई क्यान पुट अन माई वर्ड्स, आई क्यान पुट फरवर्ड्स माई थट्स एन्ड आइम भेरी, म आफै पनि पढाइलाई लिएर एकदम प्यासनेट छु. त्यो एउटा कुरा हो. तर मलाई कस्तो लाग्छ भने मेरो फ्यामिलीमा मेरो बाबा आमा काका काकी सबैमा दे आर अराउन्ड 24 cousins and I'm the only one who has double masters doing MPhil. मेरो कान्छे बहिनीले चाहिँ मास्टर्स इन एमएससी नर्स गर्नुभएको छ. सी इज अ प्रिन्सिपल इन नर्सिङ कलेज इन इन्डिया, नट इन नेपाल है. नेपालको कन्टेक्स्टमा अझै पनि हामी पछाडि छौँ, त्यो फ्याक्ट हो. अहिले सरले कुरा गर्दै जाँदाखेरि मैले मेरो दाइ भाइ यता नेपालमा जन्मेर हुर्केकाहरू किन कोही पनि एसएलसी पास पनि छैन भनेर मैले यस्तो, मलाई यहाँको कल्चर धेरै थाहा थिएन सर. तर अहिले यत्रो पढ्दै आउँछ केयुमा हामी क्रिटिकल पेडागोजी भन्छौँ, क्रिटिकल रिफ्लेक्सन भन्छौँ. एन्ड आई केप्ट अन रिफ्लेक्टिङ, अरे मेरो घरमा कोही पनि छैन, नोबडी इज द्याट, नोबडी, ओन्ली मी एन्ड माई यङ्गर सिस्टर. बिकज हामी त्यहाँ जन्म्यौँ, हामीले एउटा अपर्च्युनिटी पायौँ. मेरो फ्यामिलीमा हामी 5 जना सिब्लिङ छ. वी अल आर एटलिस्ट, दिदी बहिनीहरू सबै +2 पास गरेको र म मेरो बहिनी चाहिँ एटलिस्ट मास्टर्स गरेको. र this is also one reason why I am looking forward to do PhD. किनभने कोही पनि छैन है, nobody is there. And yes, तपाईहरुले एउटा कुरा गर्न सकिन्छ. अहिले यति धेरै कुरा आउँछ, कोठा कोठा के आई डोन्ट नो. बट मलाई कस्तो लाग्छ भने त्यो सायद why not even a single person is there? Why can't I see even a single person? है, कोही युनिभर्सिटीमा मान्छे देखिन्न है, कतै हेर्छु मान्छे देख्दैन. अब सरले अहिले कल्चरली रेस्पोन्सिभको कुरा ल्यायो. यस, अफ कोर्स इट हेज टु बी देयर. बिकज वाइ आर द चिल्ड्रेन ड्रपिङ फ्रम द स्कुल्स? किन पढ्न खोजे छैन? कहाँ गयो हाम्रो बच्चा होइन? स्कुलमा, मेरो स्कुलमा प्री स्कुलमा छैन कोही पनि बच्चा. मेरो when I see, अब मैले यसो हेर्छु अपर्च्युनिटी पाएका प्रिभिलेज भएकाहरू, जस्तो मेरो फ्यामिलीमा मेरो हस्बेन्ड इज अ मास्टर्ड, हाम्रो फ्यामिलीमा सबैजना वी अल आर फ्रम इन्डिया ओन्ली. त्यहीँबाट मेरो बाबा इन्डिया आर्मीमा हुनुहुन्थ्यो, मेरो हस्बेन्ड पनि उतैबाट भएको भएर हामीले त्यो अपर्च्युनिटी पायौँ. वी आर बट अप इन अ भेरी, भनौँ न अब त्यहाँ चाहिँ एउटा राम्रो इन्भाइरोमेन्टमा हुर्किन पाऊ. वी वर नट डिस्क्रिमिनेटेड, डिस्क्रिमिनेसन थिएन त्यहाँ. हामी मजाले पढ्न पायौँ, हुर्क्यौँ र कम्पिटेटिभ भयो. आई क्यान कम्पिट विथ एनीबडी, इट डजन्ट म्याटर है. मैले कुनै कोटा सोटा गरेको छैन. तर स्कुलमा मेरो विचारमा हाम्रो अहिले पनि कतिपय स्कुलहरूमा हामीले हेर्दाखेरि त्यो किसिमको हामीलाई जुन हेर्ने एउटा पर्सपेक्टिभ छ, जुन सरले भन्नुभयो मेजोरिटी अफ द टिचर्स आर ब्राह्मिण. यस, मैले मेरो ससुरा बाबालाई यहाँ आउँदाखेरि बुवा तपाईँ किन स्कुल जानु भएन सोद्धाखेरि हामी कसरी स्कुल जाने, हाम्रो स्कुल त गुरुले हामीलाई खुट्टा ढोक्दा पनि किताब राखिदिनुहुन्थ्यो अरे, किताबलाई ढोक भन्नुहुन्थ्यो अरे भन्ने कुरा उहाँले भन्नुभयो। मैले मेरो आमा चाहिँ स्कुल जानु भएन, मेरो बाबा चाहिँ लकिली हि वाज इन इन्डिया, सो हि स्टडी टिल क्लास 8 है। त्यो हाम्रो टाइममा जान नपाएका पनि थुप्रै छन्। अहिले इट्स गुड बिकज सी अहिले के भइरहेछ भने म पढा लेखा छु, मैले मेरो दिदीको छोराछोरी आफ्नो छोराछोरी सबैलाई एन्करेज गर्दा गर्दा वी हेभ फेसेस इन कलेजेस टुडे है। एटलिस्ट ब्याचलर पढ्दैछ, मैले मेरो दिदीको छोरीलाई मास्टर्स गर्नै पर्छ होइन। त्यो टाइममा त थिएन त कोही पनि। मेरो बुवा आमाहरू पढा लेखा हुनुहुन्थेन, मेरो कोही काका काकी, मेरो बुवा हजुरबुवा कोही पनि नोबडी इभन आई एम द फर्स्ट वान, म पहिलो मान्छे हो। सो मलाई के लाग्छ भन्यो भने जति प्रिभिलेज अरूले पाएछ त्यति प्रिभिलेज हामीले पाएनौँ, एउटा सिम्पल कुरा हो। अनि किन पाएनौँ, मेबी लाइक सर सेड हाम्रो स्कुलमा जुन टिचिङ एउटा कल्चर थियो, त्यो कल्चरमा सायद हाम्रो कम्युनिटीलाई त्यो किसिमको एउटा इन्क्लुसिभ इन्भाइरोमेन्ट थिएन वेयर दे विल रेस्पेक्टेड एज एन इन्डिभिजुअल। मेनी अफ माई फ्रेन्ड्स हेभ चेन्ज द सरनेम। यहाँ कुनै मेरो साथीहरूले दलित भनेर भन्दैन, दे हेभ चेन्ज इन्टु के भन्छ थर लेख्छ, घिमिरे लेख्छन्, बराल लेख्छन्, बट दे आर दलित। किन त्यस्तो टाइम आयो कि हामीले आफ्नै आइडेन्टिटी पनि लुकाउनु पर्यो त होइन त? त्यो त एज अ ह्युमन आई थिङ्क दिस इज समथिङ भेरी अनफोर्चुनेट होइन। तपाईँ प्राउडली यु क्यान नट से द्याट आई बिलोङ टु दिस है। सो त्यो आई थिङ्क मेरो आफ्नो मैले यो पनि एउटा एकदमै क्रिटिकली अहिले एकदम मेरो मनमा आइरहेछ, वाइ देयर इज नो वान, वाइ माई हस्बेन्ड इज द ओन्ली वान पर्सन इज इन कम्पनी है। मेरो भेनाजु, हाम्रो भेनाजु अहिले एसएसपी हुनुभयो, हि इज द ओन्ली वान पर्सन होइन, ओन्ली वान पर्सन, ओन्ली वान है। भन्न खोजेको अझै पनि त हामी छैनौँ नि त। People are talking about that we are getting reservation, but you see the people, the representation हेर्नुस् त छैन त, खोइ त। एटलिस्ट जो मैले मेरो 5वटा छोराछोरीलाई बढाउन सक्छु त्यसै गरी सायद कोही रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभ छ भने अरूलाई पनि त बढिएला कि, अरू पार्टिसिपेसन बढिन्छ कि। वी आर नट टेकिङ लाइक अरूको ठाउँ खोसिदिने त्यस्तो पनि होइन। यो स्कुल कल्चर हेरेँ, कलेजको कल्चर हेरेँ, म अलिकति इन्ट्रोभर्ट छुइनँ, म एक्सट्रोभर्ट छु, आई एम आउटस्पोकन। द्याट मिन्स म अलिकति क्रिटिकल पनि छु। मैले आफ्नो हकलाई बोल्छु, मैले क्लासमा पनि कुरा गर्छु, मैले मेरो इभन कम्युनिटीमा पनि मैले कुरा गर्छु। नो, हाम्रो बच्चाहरू पढ्नुपर्छ, अब त पढ्नै पर्छ। एन्ड टुडे लकिली अहिले हेर्दाखेरि हाम्रै एकजना मेरो भान्जीले अहिले एमबिबिएसमा फुल स्कलरसिपमा ओपन कोटामा नाम निकालेको छ, ओपनमा ओपन क्याटेगोरीमा नाम निकालेको छ भनेको त्यो अपर्च्युनिटी पाउनु पर्यो नि त, पाउनु पर्यो नि त। हामीले छोराछोरीलाई अहिले मेरो छोरीलाई पढाएको छु, माई डटर विल नेभर आस्क फर दिस होइन त। मेरो छोरीले त्यो खोज्दैन, किनभने उसले त एउटा प्रिभिलेज पाएछ, उसले त एउटा राम्रो ब्याकग्राउन्ड पाएछ जहाँ उसको प्यारेन्ट्स आर भेरी सपोर्टिभ, दे आर एजुकेटेड होइन। बट एभ्रिबडी इज नट प्रिभिलेज। आई हेभ नट सिन, मैले त अहिले हेर्दाखेरि nobody from my family, from my people, अहिले चाहिँ मेरो फ्यामिलीमा मेरो my sister-in-law is doing she got a full scholarship in Australia है. That was a good opportunity. Now we are getting this because we are educated, we are being aware, we are being हामी आफ्नो अधिकारकै लागि भए पनि बोल्दैछौँ, गर्दैछौँ हैन। आफ्नो छोराछोरीलाई पनि लिएर आउँदैछौँ हैन, तिम्रो त पढ्न पर्छ हैन, किन पढ्न पर्छ बिकज। अनि अर्को कुरा सर, जस्तो मलाई के लाग्छ भने पनि फर इक्जाम्पल आई बिलोङ टु कामी कम्युनिटी। कामी कम्युनिटी भनेको त एक किसिमले इन्जिनियरिङसँग जोड्न सकिन्छ नि। दे आर द वान हु बिल्ड अल दिस थिङ हैन त। त अहिले वेस्टर्न कल्चरबाट त्यो त पहिल्यैबाट थियो नि त हैन, यही कुरा। सो हाम्रो क्लासरुम भित्र त त्यो त कुरै आउँदैन सर हैन, त्यो कुरै आउँदैन। कुरा खै त त्यो खुकुरी कसले बनायो भन्ने कुरा खै त हैन, राष्ट्रिय चिन्हको नाममा आउँछ तर त बनाउने मान्छेको त कुनै चिन्है छैन। सो आई थिङ्क इट्स कुनै कुरामा चाहिँ वी आर भेरी मच अन्डर रिप्रेजेन्टेटिभ पनि छ। रिप्रेजेन्टेसनै नभएको कारणले पनि गाह्रो भएको हो। तर एट द सेम टाइम क्लासरुमभित्र डिफ्रेन्सिएट गर्ने भनेको त अहिले चाहिँ मैले त्यस्तो मान्दिनँ। अहिले धेरै टिचरहरू अवेर हुनुहुन्छ। मोस्ट अफ द टिचर्स हेभ बिकम कल्चरली सेन्सिटिभ एज वेल। हाम्रो युनिभर्सिटीमा वी आर वेलकम्ड हैन, त्यो एउटा राम्रो कुरा अहिलेको छ। तर यो मैले आजभन्दा मेबी 10 वर्ष अगाडि त आई डोन्ट थिङ्क इट वाज देयर हैन। तर यस्तै सरहरू जस्तै मान्छे जसले पिएचडी यस्तै कुराहरूमा अलिकति रिसर्च गर्नुभएको छ, यु हेभ कम अप विथ सम फाइन्डिङ्स द्याट वी निड मोर culturally responsive curriculum. I think that is wonderful because this is how we can make our school more inclusive, our college more inclusive, our country a better place to stay. Otherwise, half of the पिपल माइग्रेट अब्रोड, आधा त तपाईँको क्रिस्चियन भइसक्यो, आधा त तपाईँको के भइसक्यो, आई डोन्ट नो, एभ्रीबडी इज, हामी त हराउँदैछौँ, वी विल बी एक्सटिङ्क्ट आफ्टर सम टाइम। तर त्यो जुन हाम्रो कल्चरको कुरा गर्ने हो भने आई सी इट एज अ के भन्छु, मैले त यसलाई एउटा एकदमै राम्रो वेबाट लिन्छु।
I share the same view, man. I share the similar view.
मेरो आफ्नो फ्यामिलीको जुन एउटा के भन्छ सर त्यसलाई ठ्याक्कै भन्न शब्द त आएन मलाई, तर जस्तो मेरो पुर्ख्यौको एउटा माई एन्सेस्टर्सको एउटा जुन एउटा वर्क, यसलाई के भन्छ सर, यसलाई पेसा भन्छ नि होइन, अकुपेसन त आइ एम भेरी प्राउड है। भनेको त यो त त्यतिखेर त्यति नगरेको भए कसले गर्थ्यो भन्ने पनि हो। अहिले पनि हेर्दाखेरि तपाईँको फाइन ज्वेलरीबाट लिएर तपाईँको युटेन्सिल्सबाट लिएर अल द थिङ्स, तामाको भाँडा जुन बाहिर हेर्दाखेरि त यु डोन्ट गेट दोज थिङ्स राइट। अहिले त यो त हाम्रो एउटा इन्डिजिनस नलेज पनि भन्छु मैले चाहिँ, जुन बिस्तारै गुम्बिँदै जान्छ सर, किनभने सबै कुरा मसिनरी आइसक्यो। मान्छेको जुन एउटा थियो पहिला, किनभने नोबडी वान्ट्स टु वर्क नाउ, हाम्रै मान्छेहरू कोही पनि छैन। मेरो मामाले आर्यन काम गर्नुहुन्थ्यो, अहिले मेरो मामाको नाति नातिना कोही पनि चाहँदैन, नोबडी वान्ट्स टु डु द्याट राइट। हामी त गुमाउँदैछौँ, आफ्नो आइडेन्टिटी नै गुमाउँदैछौँ होइन। सो वाइ नट टु ब्रिङ द्याट आइडेन्टिटी इनसाइड द क्लासरुम and bring some discussion there, make people more inclusive, अलिकति त्यसरी पनि हामीले सोच्न सक्नु हो।
Yeah, Pushpa ma'am, yeah, definitely, I share the similar views. Thank you for being so elaborate about your own experience. I needed something like that to actually second my opinion, you know. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Sir, actually, this is my opinion as well.
Of course.
People might come up with their own opinion, sir. मेरो आफ्नो experience, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pushpa ma'am, for a very elaborative, and then you spoke from the heart. तपाईँले राम्रो कुरा ल्याउनु भएको छ। अब I think we are towards the end. So finally, once again, so I want to thank to Sunil sir, because we also have been working to some extent in the area of this culturally responsive, culturally relevant pedagogy. We have also made some publications. So there are a few students who have conducted research on this. So it's not only this pedagogical this approach. So it is a kind of, as Pushpa ma'am has said, so it is a kind of restoring our identity, and then a kind of the making connections with different kind of knowing. So perhaps we'll be discussing different things in the days to come. So I think now we should stop now this talk. So thank you, Sunil sir, once again. So we hope that we'll get opportunity to listen in the days to come. So thank you once again for all people present here, and then especially Dr. Sunil Pokhrel.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you,
everyone. Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sunil sir. Bye bye.
Bye bye, Nomani sir.